Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Today is Todd McFarlane Day. It's Friday. Wishing everyone out there a great weekend. And we are looking at the next issue that I personally own of his Amazing Spider-Man run. I do have to say I don't own a lot, so there's not a lot left before we move on to his Spider-Man title. Before we do move into this issue though, I want to mention that we are on the road here at Big Baby Reviews to 250 subs, our first kind of small personal milestone. So please, if you're viewing and enjoying the videos and you haven't subscribed yet, please go to the button below and subscribe to the channel. Really helps us out, helps get us out there, helps get the word out. Helps motivate us to put out more content, hopefully that you enjoy. So this is the Amazing Spider-Man issue 325. This one is late November 1989. So I guess we can assume that Todd McFarlane is still doing the bi-weekly here. So 2 issues a month. That guy is really going insane at this point, putting out Amazing Spider-Man issues. But he was very popular. The demand was there and it was selling, and he was probably making some good coin, at least, you know, from working at a mainstream comics company like Marvel at that time. This is the Assassination Plot, part 6 of 6, so it's the end of it. Not that matters much, because as you know, I'm not going to focus that much on the story. What we're really focusing on here is the artwork. Guest starring Silver Sable and Captain America. Let's find out. Have a look inside. All right. So it starts off with Spider-Man being denied request for security clearance. That's pretty funny. Spider-Man is a masked person whose identity is unknown. Why would the U.S. government, you know, give him a security clearance? A little odd. So credits, we've got David Michelini, writer, Todd McFarlane, artist, so that's cool. There's no extra inkers or anything, so let's see if there's any kind of a dip in the art. I don't think so, but we'll look around. Rick Parker's letterer, Bob Shanner's the colorist, and Jim Salicrup is why am I mentioning editors? Never mind. So we're really starting to see McFarlane play around with those layouts. Still pretty standard, but he's doing a lot more of these open panels, which is very interesting and cool here. I like that, and we've talked about before his kind of overlapping panels and stuff. Some of these work, some of these don't work. One thing I want to mention, Silver Sable, throughout the issue, if you look, there's a weird thing he's doing with the spacing of the eyes, where Dale Keene on Hulk is really moving them apart. McFarlane seems to be moving them really close together. I mean, it kind of works in the cartoony style he's doing. It's not horrible, but, you know, McFarlane's never been known to draw the best women necessarily. Not that they're horrible, but yeah, just some weird kind of proportions occasionally with McFarlane, both on the men and on the women. But pretty cool pages here. Captain America looking a little more on model here, I think. Here looking a little bit off model. I've mentioned it before. McFarlane, the consistency of the faces tends to change and warp a little bit throughout the issues. Sometimes it could be annoying. Sometimes it's pretty cool, actually. I just noticed this now, but I gotta say, the foreshortening here, I know he's drawn real quick, but man, it looks like, you know, Spider-Man has some sort of a nub of an arm here. Okay, really works well here, not so much here. His arm got compressed and squished together, so it's a little odd. But, I mean, good on him for trying. I'm not saying this is an easy shot to pull off. That type of foreshortening is pretty hard, actually. But, you know, in a shot like this, he does it a lot better. Maybe because it's from the front. I don't know. He will perfect this, but yeah, you know. Still, these pages look cool. That's what happens, you know. In spite of this. Good old vertical panel. So we get the, again, the tropey romantic pages, which we're going to get all throughout Amazing Spider-Man with Todd McFarlane, the Eric Larson run, and even both of their kind of stints on the regular Spider-Man run. It's a lot of black on a page for a Marvel comic. And, you know, we're slowly moving towards McFarlane's style on Spider-Man, which will get darker. I think we're seeing hints of it here and there. Bi-weekly schedule, once again. So, you know, this is a stat or a photocopy of a picture of the Pentagon kind of thrown in there, maybe pasted in. Digitally, maybe early digital stuff, not quite sure because of the weird kind of textures we're getting. Kind of similar to those early Dragon Ring issues where Dale Keene was, you know, putting in buildings and stuff. And then a bit of art from the hand, a bit of inking from the hand, just to kind of integrate the background and stuff. One thing I did want to mention too, once we get to see Spider-Man again, as I said, we're moving towards that no adjective title Spider-Man look that McFarlane's going to go into. So the slowly but surely what you'll notice is that the Spider-Man costume is going from mostly blue on the interior to black, right? Which is harkens back to kind of the original Spider-Man and Steve Ditko. So throughout this issue, you see that, and we've been seeing it, you know, as I said, across the prior issues on Amazing Spider-Man that McFarlane's working on. Captain America, once again, now he's got a big chin, doesn't have the flat nose, so maybe more on model here. Not quite sure though why it's so shifty across, you know, every page. Here, kind of odd on this, you know, I don't mind the vertical panels, and most of the time the cropping is done well. I do find it odd that the end of the nose is cropped off there, because then you can assume, you know, lots of things about Captain America's nose, like it's pointy and stuff, and it doesn't really fit with this, right? Because it would probably, you know, I just feel like art-wise, you would have just moved this part, not so interesting, so move that in just a bit more so the nose fits on the inside here. It's a small criticism, right? It's not the end of the world, but it's just fine cutting the nose off there is just odd. But again, he's doing 2 issues a month, so, you know, who am I to critique that? He's probably working really fast and long hours every day, so the art overall still looks cool. You know, it's a cool shot of Captain America. We're starting to get that newly, you know, lots and lots of newly McFarlane lines. Here's another kind of interesting crop where, you know, sometimes he crops within the panel. What we're actually seeing here is just like the hands and the foot and the leg here, I think is super cool. Very interesting. I love that. Something no one else, I think, was doing or was trying to do. Feels pretty innovative for McFarlane there. Not saying it's impossible that other people did it. Here's another good example of where I think the foreshortening is excellent. I don't really have any problems with that, and that's just a very good shot of Spider-Man there. We get a dynamic panel here, right? Rough kind of border. Some action lines, dynamics lines. So sometimes when I see stuff like this, I feel like maybe these lines were added by the production department, not necessarily McFarlane. Again, they kind of jump in and think that maybe people won't understand exactly what's going on, so they add these in those cases. This is something I think McFarlane did. So yeah, we're getting that darker Spider-Man look here across this issue here and there, right? This kind of stuff, darker, starker lighting. As you know, the regular Spider-Man title is a little more horror oriented. I hope I said that right and that was understood. Here's a very cartoony Tom McFarlane Spider-Man profile, which I think is awesome, right? This is the kind of stuff you'd see like on a t-shirt or on a promotional item. Just super cool. Very iconic for the early 90s Spider-Man, even though this is 1989. He's building towards it, right? So here's kind of a profile that's well cropped, right? Red Skull looks cool. Anytime McFarlane's drawn skulls, it looks pretty cool. Is this where you got the idea to give Ghost Rider a pupil? Maybe. Lots and lots of vertical panels. McFarlane's definitely the one who used and probably abused it the most. Another cool Spider-Man shot, right? Another cool shot on a t-shirt. I've mentioned a lot how in and around the early 90s, McFarlane becomes, you know, Marvel's marketing scheme, right? They like every piece of Spider-Man art is Tom McFarlane art. He becomes the John Romita Sr. of the early 90s when it comes to Spider-Man. Say what you will, but he did completely, you know, without changing much. I mean, it's still Spider-Man, but he did reinvent the whole kind of look and feel of Spider-Man. See more examples where he's going full black on the costume, right? Here, the blue's just has become a highlight once again. And again, a weird example here of Silver Sable's eyes. Just, you know, again, the idea of the crop here, I guess, if the eyes are wider apart, you don't get as much of the eyes in there. Maybe instead of, you know, bringing the eyes so close together, you draw the head a bit smaller, but, you know, that's what happens here. You don't notice it at first, but if you really sit there, there's just some weirdness going on between the eyes there. And another weird thing I find is this panel here, right, with the foot kind of sticking out, but the leg is not. Like, it's just feels odd. Not the end of the world. You know, Todd's trying stuff all the time, so I will never fault him for trying stuff. And overall, the art is pretty awesome, so not a complaint, just a weird kind of detail. So there you have it. We've reviewed the Amazing Spider-Man 325. Remember, we here at the channel, we're on the road to 250 subs. So if you like what you've seen here, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I hope to all my regular subscribers and everyone viewing out there has an awesome day.
Like, subscribe, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KingComics.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.